Hello and thank you for taking the time to watch our video. We will start with the historical basics of Iban itself. When it comes to Iban, the first thing that commonly comes to mind of people is that they practice headhunting. And headhunting is something that they take pride in. Their strong will to eliminate colonizers lead them to be known as the fiercest tribe in all of Borneo. While we don't deny this rather chilling history of the Ibans, they are also filled with rich values of tradition in which they still retain till this day. Well, except for the headhunting practice, of course.
Whoa!
Yeah.
It's a big knife.
That's a special knife. This is during head hunting time.
These are the knives.
Yes,
they
these
use
are the
to
knife.
Cut the heads.
Yeah.
May I have a closer look?
Yeah. Okay.
Wow, it looks really old. How old do you think it is?
Well, this is third, fourth. I think this is the seventh generation.
And the hair on it?
And the hair symbolize this is the warrior who are really brave enough. Those in the army and they have a special ranking.
Okay, so this is a high-ranking warrior.
Correct.
Is this animal hair?
This is an animal hair.
What kind of animal is it?
This is
Like a horse or
cow.
Cow, okay. So only the brave warriors have this.
Have this. And this knife cannot be sharpened by anybody else except those who are really warrior.
The warrior has to sharpen his own knife. Well, that seems right.
Well, aside from headhunting, they are also known for their rumah panjang. The rumah panjang or rumah panjai are a district portrayal of the Ibans. The rumah panjang basically translates to long house, which is where most of them live. Although it is to note that not all of them live in rumah panjang. Since these houses are located in such rural areas, the way of transportation is harder, so riding a boat is pretty common. There are mainly two types of rumah panjangs, the traditional ones and the modern ones. Well, you'll know it when you see it. Yeah, most of the traditional ones have the stairs just like you've seen just now. And moving on, we see that these are the modern ones. They're basically like normal modern houses, but they're very long. Moving on, the Iban culture is very rich in literature, having been said to exceed the Greeks itself in terms of literature. The Iban language and their culture is also a huge aspect of their culture, as they are heavily tied to their rituals. These are some of the examples of the said rituals. What you have just witnessed is an example of timang.
Aku tahu memang biar aku pelabak aku nya. Aku nak kan nemu orang bukai berkeni biar aku. Orang sibuk di tempat berkeni biar aku dah. Tapi nanti aku salah.
Wow. Jadi kepada kita kami itu tadi. Aku tu ngai biar aku, tak ada suhib biar aku. Aku malu kau biar aku. Kita dia.
And those are one of the varieties of the Ibanic language. Now that I've more or less covered about their language, we're gonna go back to literature. When it comes to legends and sacred narratives of the origins, they usually make this story and recreate it into a drama-like performance. For example, in the video you're gonna be seeing features cultural heroes and heroines including Kaling, Bunga Nuing, Kumang, Inday Abang, and so on. Those are the heroes and heroines that you'll be seeing in the performance. Behold.
As time goes by, Kumang's father Badang and Iban chief have decided to marry Kumang with one of the men in the village. But he was unsure with whom Kumang should marry to, as there are many men in the village who are interested with her. So Badang made a challenge and announced that whoever of them who fight and return with the rival's head, that man shall be married to Kumang. Kalian, a great warrior from Pangau Libau, had fallen in love with Kumang. When he heard about the challenge, he quickly accepts it. But his rival Tedang was not just anybody. He is an arrogant and most merciless man in the village. A fierce battle between Kaliang and Tedang, and they fought from day to night.
We are going to be moving on to the festival part of this video. In this video, you're going to be seeing a situation that usually, most precisely going to happen during the Gawai festival, which is held in the Iban Longhouse. Gawai is an annual festival celebrated by the Iban people. It is a time when the Ibans touch base with their roots by celebrating the traditional festival with families and friends, and enjoy a cup of alcohol named tua. In the Iban culture, the use of alcohol in gatherings is allowed, while in Malay culture, our wise ancestors once said, "No festival is enjoyed without a dance." And what festival is there without the ngajat dance? This dance is popular in a traditional event such as the Gawai Day. This dance consists of graceful, precise, and surprise movement of the body, with occasional shouts of battle cry, very amazingly manly. Many of you might imagine what is a pua kumbu. Well, as its name suggests, it's actually a secret object, which is used in the life cycle ritual and special events, including birth, child, and coming of age celebrations. If you think Christmas is the only event where there's a tree involved, well, you're wrong, because in Gawai Day, they actually have this tree called a ranyai tree. Apparently, those people will hang gifts on those trees, and snacks and biscuits. And the performers are going to cut off one of the food items from the ranyai tree before finishing their dance. It's pretty cool. You should see for yourself. What you are seeing before you right now is the Sandaw Ari. Gawai Sandaw Ari means daytime festival and is celebrated on the open air veranda, Tanju, only during the daytime. Sandaw Ari could be held to make preparations to go on a warpath in the old days. Sometimes a man is inspired in a dream by a deity or the spirit of the deceased ancestors or other close relatives to hold a Sandaw Ari. Pretty neat. For the next part, we're moving on to a rather interesting topic: the clothing and tattoos and war, things like that. The piece of headgear you see before you is called a katapu, and it is made of rattan, the thing you use to beat kids. And it is woven according to the wishes of each pattern. Once ready to be woven and painted, it will be placed with bird feathers, like as you can see before you. As time goes on, there have been other changes in the male traditional costume with the designs of the baju kurung and sirat, evolving because of the unavailability of materials such as rare feathers and animal fur. Today, although the Ibans are assumed to have succeeded in preserving their tribal customs, rituals, and traditional beliefs, which can clearly be seen during the harvest festival of Gawai Daya, weddings, puakungu, and ngajat competitions, there are more that the younger generations can do to help preserve the identity of the Iban culture and traditions. For instance, during the Gawai celebration or even other festivals, the Ibans today rarely don their traditional costumes when they go visit or attend gatherings. The costumes are mostly worn during special occasions such as dancing performances or competitions, like the one you saw before, the Kumang and Keling contests, drama shows. In a matter of seconds, you will be witnessing how a traditional clothing is put on piece by piece. So, observe. The Ibans believe that their tattoo have protective powers in the form of charms. It can also protect its wearer from nightmares. Pretty cool, rad skirt. It is said that Ibans without tattoos are said to be virtually invisible to God. So that means if you don't have tattoos, you're worthless in the eyes of God.
This is the Dayak mask. Yeah, so it's a customized design by my friend from Indonesia.
Thank you, Mister, for that amazing explanation about different tattoos. As you can see, each of them hold a different meaning and is very interesting for someone who have no tattoos like me. The most basic type of Iban tattoo is the bunga turung design. It is usually the first tattoo that a man gets before going on his belajai or coming of age ceremony. This design was based on a tadpole's tail that symbolized the beginning of life, so you can see the relations. The Iban use tattoos and are considered a protective charm, but in the Malay culture, tattoos are usually considered as an involvement with gangsterism or violence. It will protect the wearer from being beheaded. Pretty amazing, eh? In this part of the video, I'm gonna be explaining about some famous food that Iban people usually eat. As you can see from the picture, this is called a panso manok, in which Iban people usually cook by stuffing things into a bamboo stem. To spice things up and not make you guys bored, I will show you a video of how one panso manok is made. From the video, we see that they used a clump of vegetables to close the stem for flavoring, I presume. After some time of cooking the panso manok, we can see that it is ready to be taken out from the stem and to be served. Oh my god, look at that tasty serving of panso manok. Now I'm actually kinda hungry. Okay, now moving on, we have the tua. Okay, generally in Sarawak, people love to drink this so much when they have special occasions and festival, especially during Gawai celebration. Tua, or rice wine, is a special kind of drink that is made out of fermented rice with yeast and sugar sometimes. I don't know how it's made, but it's usually served to guests during like welcoming parties, and yeah, that's about it. Next, we'll be talking about a dish that includes fish called kasam ikan Iban. This dish is very versatile, and what I mean by that is that you can use any type of fish with it, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And then, even though it is known to be tasty among these people, I read somewhere in a wiki that says this dish is somewhat, it smells kind of weird, but I mean, it's food, so it should still be tasty. Next up is the terong asam, which is mostly cooked with fish and then comes in different colors. Usually you're gonna see them in yellow color, and it will have a sourish taste, thus the name terong asam. And the recipe for these is usually just terong asam or a yellow eggplant, which is easily available in any type of market. Yeah, these people claim that this is a good thing to be used as a dessert because it's not really satisfying for your hunger, just something for you to chew on, something like that, I'm sure. Finally, we got the pansuh ikan. You may see a little similarity with pansuh manok in this one, because this is literally just the same method of cooking, except instead of you using a chicken, you use fish. Just stuff in some fish inside the stem, the bamboo stem, put in some other spices, and cook it over a fire, and voila, you got the pansuh ikan. To conclude, the Iban culture is a bold culture in of itself. They're very outgoing. The tattoos, the clothing, and they're warriors, with a different approach than the Malays. It is very important to note, though, what makes them is how they are still intact with their traditional values despite being modernized. In a nutshell, every culture has its own interesting topic. I assure you, once you start to do some research about a certain culture, you're bound to find something that interests you. This is what I mean to have an understanding of another's culture. Or should I say, cultural intelligence. Understanding a culture and acknowledging its worth is what makes living together with another culture an interesting thing, because we get to witness a lot of different actions and behaviors that are not solely limited to what we ourselves know.